leave here feeling that you are empowered with more knowledge than you came here with. The main intent of this whole program is to give you an education so that when you go in for service for your automobile, you're not going to be taken advantage of, because it happens way too often in this industry and I can't stand it. And the best way to do that is to educate people. That's where we come up with knowledge is power. AC Delco is the person that has put this knowledge is power seminar together. We want to answer all your questions. We want you to leave here feeling that you are empowered with more knowledge than you came here with. Fluids under the hood. I love fluids. They're great. Oil. If leaking, will leave a light brown or black stain. It's usually medium consistency. If burning, it will produce a thick, heavy odor, sometimes accompanied by bluish smoke from under the hood. I have my favorite fluid samples up here. I love them. This is good motor oil. This is Castrol GTX. It's got this beautiful color to it. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. Just shine that through the light there. This is Castrol synthetic motor oil. It's a lot cleaner. It's beautiful. It's a little thinner. It's like liquid ball bearings, they say. I'm not going to pass some of these around because they're pretty bad. This is motor oil that went entirely too far. This car was 4 years old. It cost them $6,500 to do this oil change because it came with an engine.
You want to pass that?
I don't want people to get all mucked up. This motor oil, this was a $6,000 engine. Oh, excuse me, oil change, came with an engine. This has water in it. If I flip this upside down, you'll see it doesn't stick to the bottom. That's because oil floats on water. This is a 2-year-old car. He used a lot of additive in the gas tank and went into the oil. That's why it's so thick and icky. That was a $4,500 used motor because that's all he could afford to put in his 2-year-old car that he still owed $25,000 on. Transmission fluid. If leaking, will leave a reddish stain. That is absolutely true because transmission fluid is red. It's a beautiful color. That's what transmission fluid should look like. Sometimes transmission fluid is brown. It is burnt. Sometimes it's black. It's beyond burnt. You're probably going to be buying a transmission if it's black. This came out of a car, was 5 years old, was $2,500 to do his transmission service because he got water in it. And that's wet transmission fluid. That's why it looks so nasty. Transmissions have a vent on the top. It's just an open vent that allows the pressure to escape from it. When we drive in these puddles we got around here, because our drainage is so wonderful in this valley, water's getting into your transmission when you're going through that because it's submerged in water. Your differentials, they're vented to the atmosphere. When they're submerged in water, water is going into that oil. So after a rain and you've driven through deep puddles, which you shouldn't be doing, you should be avoiding them at all costs. You should be going around them, find another route. You can get from point A to point B in this valley without going through the puddles. It's going to take you longer, you got to go around, but it's going to save you a lot of money. Brake fluid. If leaking, this liquid will be clear or tinted slightly brown if new. If it's old fluid, then it may be completely brown. Liquid will be slippery to the touch. Brake fluid is water soluble. It is not an oil. It does not mix with oil. One of the most common things we see is people adding power steering fluid to their brake fluid. And this is basically why. This is power steering fluid. This is brake fluid. How close is that? Really close. Up until just recently, the containers they came in were round cylinders. They were a pint, about yay tall, same color. They looked the same. One said brake fluid, one said power steering fluid. Right to the shelf, pour it in there. Not good. Bad, bad, bad. This brake fluid that I labeled as good is actually 10 years old. It was brand new when I put it in this jar, and it is now that color. Just sitting there all by its little lonesome, not exposed to the atmosphere or anything going on with it. I put this in yesterday. Big difference. That's what brake fluid really looks like. As brake fluid ages, it becomes oxidized, and it turns into this. This will corrode. When brake fluid corrodes, it's going to ruin things like anti-lock brake units. thousands of dollars to fix them. I do not have a bad brake fluid. This has gone beyond. It's black, never got changed. 6-year-old car, $2,500. Power steering, it's another neglected fluid. It is usually clear. Could be reddish. There are some reddish power steering fluids out there. When it goes bad, it burns up, just like everything else, turns to crap. It gets very abrasive. This rolls through your power steering system at a very high rate and a very high pressure. That will erode the inside of your hoses, hence you will have particulate contamination. That's what all the crud is on the bottom. It's deteriorated hoses and metal lines and interior of rack and pinion. Thousands of dollars to fix that stuff. Why not flush it and keep good fluid in there, get the abrasives out of it, keep it from breaking down, and you won't have to replace expensive components. Every one of my customers that we flush their power steering fluid on a regular basis, they don't have any power steering failures. They're not doing $1,000 rack and pinions. Engine coolant. If leaking, will leave yellow, green, pink, or orange stains that are lighter and thinner than oil. You may also smell a sweet odor, usually accompanied by steam from under the hood. Not a good thing, is it? Ethylene glycol, green, been around for years and years and years. It's a cat killer. Cats love this stuff. They drink it, crystallizes their intestines, they die. Don't let them drink it. It's really bad. Then they came out with Dexcool. It's beautiful orange. It's a 50-50 mixture of Dexcool. This is a oat, organic acid technology, compared to an ethylene glycol. They do not mix. Do not mix them. If you're in an emergency situation and have to add some, go ahead and do that. Get it flushed out and get it changed to one thing or the other, because they don't mix. If you take it to me, I check every one of your fluids every time you bring your car to me. If you bring your car to me every three months or 3,000 miles for an oil change, I will check every one of your fluids. When I see it starting to turn, I'm going to tell you it's starting to turn, change it now.